Let's go. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to my brand new podcast. I've been really psyched all day to record this episode, and I've actually been psyched since yesterday, but I haven't been home alone, so I've just kind of felt like I want the space to sit down in my cupboard to actually get this thing done. I want to have full creative freedom, and I do get a bit, what's it called? I get a bit shy if people are around and listening to what I'm doing. So here I am, all by myself. I have just over an hour until I need to head out for a doctor's appointment, which is to do with I've never had such a bad back, so this is good. I'm currently sitting in my cupboard under the stairs. Not necessarily the most ergonomic option, but this is what we're flowing with. And yeah, today we're going to go through. We've got our 3 sections that for now are going to be part of this podcast. First one's going to be catch up. I'm going to tell you how I'm doing, what's been going on in my life recently since since kind of last time, but it's only a fresh thing, so bear with me. Secondly, I'm going to share with you a 7-day healthy body challenge, a 7-day challenge that you can use at any time in your life if you're feeling a bit unhealthy. I've made this for my clients, my private clients, and shared it in our private WhatsApp group, but I thought it's a really, really good basis for just trying to get your shit together, really. So feel free to use it. I will put a link in the show notes, and I don't really know how the show notes work, but I'm sure you're going to find it because I'll do my best to include it in there. And then in section number 3, for the first time, excitingly, we're going to go through your questions. I'm so excited. If you've got any questions, let's mention it already, send them to hello@erikahelsinki.com, and I shall consider answering them in this podcast. So I'm very, very psyched that it's finally becoming like an interactive thing, which is the whole point, really. It's for me to feel like there's a deeper meaning in these human connections in this world. And also I hope that you will feel like, I can be a friend to you, and you can be a friend to me, and we can collaborate, we can do stuff together, even if it's virtually on the internet. I feel like this is really going to work. And just before I started recording this, well, actually just before I went to see my previous client, I sat down and realized that I can create a thing online, which I'll also share a link to in the show notes, where whatever questions I answer in section 3, you can also provide your answers to the same questions. But more about that later on. Let's move on with the gossip, the chat, the catch-up of what's been going on. I mentioned in episode 1 that I was going to go on this gig with Laura, who invited me to go with her, and it was a band called Novo Amor, or Novo Amor, Novo space Mamor, and I'd never heard a single song before, and it was the most unbelievable gig I've ever been to. I think I would say, okay, in its category, my favorite gig ever was probably Jamie Cullum. Yeah, I've seen him twice live, and he's unbelievable. But this band, the gig was sold out. So it was in a place called Wylam Brewery, which is in Newcastle. It's a beautiful venue. There's a lake outside, or pond, or whatever you want to call it, with swans in it and beautiful lighting. And during the gig, the audience was completely captivated by the band, and I've never experienced anything like it. It was unbelievable. They were singing, and during the songs, if there was a pause in the song, you could hear a pin drop. There was just, everyone was fully concentrated, and this really was emphasized when I went to the toilet. I had to go to the toilet in the middle of the gig. And after coming out, I went to get me and my friend a drink from the bar, which was in the same space as the gig was playing. And when I went to the bar, I actually placed my order whispering. I was like, can I just have a pint of that and a pint of that, please? And then they whispered back. And I was like, why are we whispering? They're just like, we can't ruin the vibe. And it was so touchable and so electric. Oh my God, I need to go and see more live gigs, because it was just a real experience. Just that I think I'll remember for the rest of my life. It was unbelievable. And as the songs ended, everyone was cheering, clapping, woo, hey, and unbelievable. That was like, thank you so much, Laura, for taking me. And this goes to show as well that I knew nothing about the band. I knew that they're like a really mellow band. And if you just vibe with whatever is in front of you, it can become one of the most meaningful experiences of your life. We need to start to live in the moment more, because this life is so fast moving, and if you bloody blink, you'll miss what's just happened. Secondly, I had an MRI scan finally for my knee. My knee got injured in gymnastics training on the 11th of January 2023, and it's now 5th of May. So I landed onto a straight leg from a height with my leg at an angle. And I just felt a crunch, and it felt really strange because there was no real pain. And after a while of sitting down, I stood up and I was able to walk, but I just said it feels really weird. And I continued training. Well, I just said I'm going to focus on doing handstands and stuff with my arms for the rest of the session. But then I was spotting my friend who was wanting to do some stuff on the floor, where basically I was holding his leg, and my knee just completely gave way. My knee just completely went, and it was really odd. Again, there was no pain, but I was on the floor. So then I went for an x-ray the next morning, and I went for another x-ray when my knee again just went ridiculously, horribly, as I was crossing the road. Basically, whenever there's muscle tension on the leg, it's fine. When there's not, when I'm not thinking about it, that's when shit goes down. And I finally got referred to to a physio and to go and get an MRI scan, which I had on Saturday. I've had one MRI scan before for my hip, and that was from like a climbing injury. And it was because I kind of remember that it was going to be this meditative experience that it was. It was unbelievable. Oh, I loved it so much. I was just thinking afterwards, I really want this kind of an experience at home. So basically I went in, I put a gown on, like a hospital gown, which I have a weird thing for. I just think they're quite cool. And I got to choose the song, the music that was playing. And I chose Beethoven. I just straight away said I saw modern bands like Christina Aguilera and the modern bands like the Queen, lots of different things. And I just said, is there any classical? Because I don't want lyrics. I want to be here to meditate. And then they just, it's at the flip side of the paper. And I saw Beethoven. There was Tchaikovsky and all sorts, but I chose Beethoven. And it was the most perfect choice. As I went into the machine, this time actually my head wasn't in, so it wasn't as claustrophobic as it can be if you're fully inside this tube that swallows you, that you have to stay completely still in. They just say if you move at all, they're going to have to restart, and then it's going to take longer and longer. So if I'm super still, it's only going to take 20-25 minutes to complete, which it did. And there I was with headphones on, the machine's really loud, and the vibrations, it was unbelievable, the noises. First it's completely quiet, then it goes, sorry for that experience, I'm sure that was really enjoyable, but you can also feel the vibrations. And I just went in to clear my mind. And it was unbelievable. I have this ability that I've kind of practiced, and you can't force it on, but especially over lockdown, I learned to do this thing where when I'm going to bed, I can learn to do these visualizations. It doesn't feel like I'm doing them. I'm just accepting whatever comes. And when I describe these to my friends, and I'm fully aware, and this has been going on ever since I was, I don't know, a teenager. I feel like my brain is like, when people talk about taking mushrooms or psychedelics and stuff, I feel like I know exactly what they're talking about. And it's really strange because I've never done that stuff. I just feel like I don't need the drugs and my head can take me there. So in this meditation, I was, towards the end of it, I was starting to see these faces pop up, and they come from, right and left and just all the directions from up and down. And normally it's faces, it's not necessarily human faces, but this time it was dolls' faces, and it was precisely Blythe dolls. They're like custom dolls. And I've got a friend called Tiina, who is a very talented Finnish Blythe doll customizer, or whatever you'd call her. And they sell for a lot of money. And it was so odd. It wasn't scary. With my visualizations, the faces, that again can be not animal, not human, just something. If I've had a really good day, they're mostly positive, but it's not, you can't necessarily put a word down for that emotion. If I've had a worse day, then they could be quite scary, quite intimidating, and then I just relax and know that I'm safe and accept everything that comes. So I just really enjoyed the MRI scan, and when it finished, I just said I wish that just went on. I want to stay in there. It kind of felt like it only lasted for a couple of minutes, and I nearly fell asleep at one point because it just went from silent to this. I just jumped a little bit. But apart from that, unbelievable. I love that stuff like that. It's like, it's the stuff that isn't natural. We're not meant to be born into this world and experience these highly technical things that we don't even understand how they work. I was trying to ask the girls, the ladies in the place, how, doing the whole MRI thing, how this thing works, what makes the vibrations, what makes the sounds so different. And they were like, well, a physicist tried to explain to us and I didn't really understand, so we need to go away. And if somebody can tell me what happens in an MRI scan precisely, I'd love to hear the most detailed explanation. I would love to vibe on that. Okay, let's get into I already got the results from the MRI scan. I said it could take 2 weeks, and I got them yesterday, which was Thursday. So less than a week after my appointment, and turns out that I have, let me just read, ruptured my ACL, which is anterior cruciate ligament, behind my patella, behind my kneecap, and also torn my meniscus. So to begin with, my physio was threatening, or just saying, don't be surprised if the doctor that you're going to speak to recommends a knee reconstruction operation. Another doctor, a GP, said that with good luck, it's only meniscal damage and they can just do keyhole surgery. So I basically got pretty much the worst news that I could have expected. I broke down into tears, and that was a really hard bite for me to swallow, actually, because I had thought about it and I had processed it and I had thought about the potential that that's going to be the result. But when somebody really says it to you, fuck my life. Just, I'm too young, but shit happens. I'm kind of proud that at least it came from a sporting injury and it didn't come from doing nothing. And it just is part of life and I'm going to have to deal with it. But if I have to undergo this full knee reconstruction, then the really annoying thing is that it has to be redone every, I think they said 10 to 15 years, which means that, well, every time it's going to be a more complicated procedure. which also increases the risks, and the results probably very likely going to be worse every time. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to focus on doing a fuck ton of handstands and upper body training, the stuff that I can still do, because I'm not giving up. And yeah, that's it. It's fine. Whatever comes. But then my friend who I went to a pizza competition on Saturday with another friend who's a doctor. And he was saying the queues for a knee replacement can be up to 4 years. That's quite a long time. If I have to wait for 4 years, and the recovery, they said to me between 6 and 9 months recovery, because I'm fit, young and healthy. Thank you very much. But it's up to 2 years officially. So just thinking, imagine if it's going to be 6 years from now when I finally get to resume my normal activities, which are with a fake knee, and then I'm never going to be, I don't want to go there. I've already cried about this. I'm not going to do it today. But that's the jolly news. Pizza competition, that was great actually. And what was funny about that day actually, this was at the same venue as the gig was at Wild and Brewery in Newcastle, and me and my friend were just we like to practice handstands, and I'm very averse to, I don't really like attention. I like private attention, I like one-on-one attention, but I don't like to show off or to be in the middle of a crowd. I don't want people to look at me. I'd rather disappear into the sidelines and just observe rather than be observed. But he had this urge, and so do I, to just do a bit of handstand training. So we ended up just being in this pizza competition. We ended up queuing lots, and then we were just doing handstands up against the wall, one of the walls. And that's just the way I party, I think. I've said before that my house parties when I lived on Westgate Road in Newcastle, which is like on this hill, it's like, I think it's the most, there's the most nationalities out of any other road in England or something like that. And we had a house party and these new cream carpets, and I just said, if anyone spills a drink, that's 20 burpees and cleaning the carpet straight away. So people ended up doing a lot of burpees at my house party, which is great. And I just love to do little fitness challenges anyway at my summer barbecues and stuff. It's just, there's nothing better, oh my god. And just getting people to move, inspiring people to try new things. People, we are human animals. We were made to move. So let's move. Let's party together. Which means moving. Let's see, I wrote down some things that, yes. Yesterday after the news, we were late for our bus. After the MRI scan news. I'm looking after my friend's house at the moment, who moved to Malaysia. And that's really fun. I took my kids across to an entirely new, our secondary house. So we water the flowers and do all sorts of stuff around the house. Look after the ventilation and empty the bins out and stuff. And it's just really quite exciting to have another place to go to that is just, it's like an Airbnb. And it's just my friend's house because she's going to be away for a few years. So I think that's just amazing. And I'm really looking forward to, there's a coffee/beer shop. And apparently like a really cool pizza place nearby. So I'm looking forward to going and staying there. It's actually quite close to my gymnastics practice place. So next time I get to go with my broken knee, I'll just do some upper body stuff and rolling on the floor and stuff like that, and just stay there overnight and have a great time. Go and eat pizza with some lovely locally brewed IPA or something. Also went to the sea. I think the water temperature was something like 7 degrees. Went to the sea on Sunday, and that was really fun. And it was my second time in the winter time. It's fucking mental. After we went for a donut and a coffee, it was pissing it down with rain. And we were casually, it was 4 of us, sitting outside this coffee shop, eating our donuts and drinking coffees. And it was just, oh, she's done it again. See. No, Papa. Sorry about that. I need to sort this shit out. I need to keep touching my laptop because it's done the same thing as it did before. So I didn't touch it, so it went to sleep and then it just cut off the thing. So I was just going to say about the coffee and the donuts outside the coffee shop in the pissing rain. We're wearing waterproofs-ish, and the water was just landing on the coffee. You could see all the drops just splashing about, and there we were just happily talking for about, I don't know, 45 minutes or something, drinking rainy coffee, and life is good. I've also been in my ice bath pretty much every day, I'd say on average every day for the past week or two. Went twice the other day and didn't go in once yesterday because I was bloody devastated about the news. And also had a Finnish May Day party. May Day in Finnish, it's called Vappu. It gets widely celebrated in Finland as I think it's kind of like a working class celebration. But basically everyone gets absolutely hammered. Not something I recommend, but we had a great party. It was actually way more than 20 people turned up, which is amazing. Finnish people and friends of Finnish people and partners of Finnish people. And there's quite a few of us in Newcastle. So that's really cool. Now, I'd like to move on to section 2. And section 2 is going to be something that I share with you that has benefited my clients or my friends, or just something that I feel like I could contribute to the world, and it would be a shame to just keep it within all closed doors and not share it with more people. So I think this can really help you. If you're feeling a bit sluggish and a bit shit, then do this 7-day challenge that I created, because it really can make a huge impact to your well-being. And that's it, really. The feedback from my clients has been very good. It's just based on all the proper science, all the everything that makes life worth living. So it covers nutrition, movement, and habits. I'm just going to really sort of give you an overview. It's got a shopping list on it and then some notes about the whole thing. I'm going to share the link to this in the show notes. So just go and click on that. You can freely access the thing, save it onto your own device, and then do it whenever you feel like you need a bit of a health boost. I just called it a healthy body challenge because it's a 7-day challenge that's going to make you feel bloody better and make your body healthier. Essentially, nutrition wise, you would eat foods that come from natural sources, unprocessed, anything at all. Let's have a look at the shopping list. So we've got water and other calorie-free drinks, fresh vegetables, fruit and berries, rice, oats, pasta, potatoes, brown bread, pulses, which is any beans, lentils, peas, fresh meat, fresh poultry, seafood, unprocessed. Also whey protein, which obviously it is processed, but if you struggle to hit your protein goal, then that could be very beneficial. Your nuts and seeds, butter, extra virgin olive oil, and then things are color coded, so there's a better explanation as to how much of everything to have. It's not, the whole point is that I didn't want to make it too complicated. I want you to just read through it once and sort of, you'll get the vibe of it, and then you can go away and do it for a week. Guarantee you'll feel so much better. Movement wise, even if you don't do the nutrition side of it, basically every day for 7 days you'll do 100 repetitions of one exercise per day. Day 1 is squats. Day 2 is lying back extensions. Day 3 is push-ups. Day 4 is sit-ups. Day 5 is lunges. Day 6 is swimmers, or sort of lying back extension-y type of things, including a bit more lat work. And the day 7 is dips. And the whole point is that you work every single part of your body, so that you don't want to just be doing chest work and ignore your back, because that'll result in worse posture. And you don't want to be neglecting your legs because it's uncomfortable. Yes, we know everyone skips leg day. No, actually, no. Everyone cool doesn't skip leg day. So 100 reps a day, it's easy enough to be done very quickly. When I say squats, there's also links to videos where I show you what to do if you don't understand what the exercise means, and different variations to the exercises. You can use weights. You don't need to use weights. You can just do them at home. The whole point is you don't need any equipment, and just do this stuff. Do it, because it's like Weldon day. It's like night and day, the difference that it can make to your life in only a week. With habits, as we discussed in episode 1, with your essentials for a good life. Number 1 is sleep, at least 7.5 hours a night. Then we've got stuff about mindful eating and supplement recommendations and getting outside every day. I've also included my favourite 10-minute or under healthy meals, which I think nowadays many people struggle to find enough time to actually cook from scratch. And I understand that working takes a lot of time for many people, and then some people just don't enjoy cooking. So this is just stuff that you can throw together in hardly any time, and that's that. Do I need to say anything else? Do the 100 reps a day. Focus on eating. All you need to do is go and click on the link in the description or whatever, show notes, and you will find my 7-day healthy body plan. Also, please, if you find this useful, just share it with a friend, and that'd be really cool. What's next? Section 3. Excellent. Let's check that we're still recording. 27 minutes in. Rock and roll. Okay. Let's find the thing. See, I'm just doing a one take for every podcast, because otherwise I'll never release it. So bear with me while I shuffle through my things, the pages I've got open. Knee arthroscopy and stuff. Right, there's the 7-day challenge. Here. No. Thought I found it. Let me pause this and get back to you in just a second. Let me just see. Oh my God, it's so annoying. Okay, I found it as soon as I stopped the recording, of course. So I do need to pee a little bit as well. But I'm not going to stop. Let's just do it all in one go. And then it's all done. Thank you very much, my friend, for some of these questions. If you do want to submit your own questions, please do send them to hello@ericahelsinki.com. Erica is with a K. And I would love to just have any questions. They can be anything. Let's just go with that. They can be anything. You'll get a vibe as to what kind of questions I like, maybe with as and when we go on with this show. But the really cool thing now, we're going to go through 2 questions. And after having gone through them, again, you can submit your own answers to these questions via a link that I'll provide. And I reckon this is going to be, so on the same page, I'm going to keep posting the questions that I've answered on this show. And this will essentially accumulate a large, huge database, hopefully, in the future, of different kinds of answers. Try and keep your answers not too many words. Try and keep them brief, so I've got time to read them all. First, okay. The first question that I felt inclined to answer is, when are you at your happiest? That's a really lovely question, because it really makes you think about, obviously, when you're happy and what happiness is. So for me, happiness is a funny word. I don't feel like you can ever reach a happy life. I think you can reach a good enough life. This is actually, let me see. I'm just showing the YouTube thing. This is supposed to say the good enough life. So I'm holding a sticker, Velcro sticker thing, because I was going to initially call this podcast The Good Life. And then I just Googled it, and there's so many podcasts called that I decided against it. And then I thought, I don't want there to be any expectation, so let's just focus on friendship. However, when am I at my happiest? So happy, the way I understand happy is not elated, not giggling, but just content, where I feel at peace with what's going on and I want to really, really focus on that moment. And I can feel deep joy within. It doesn't even need to radiate from my face, but it's something that is felt just through appreciating that moment in time. So I made a few notes. Let me see what I've written down. Being nice to people. Okay. This is something that I've really, really, really found or learned over the years, is that the nicer you are to people, the nicer people will be to you. And it really is like, if you're a dick, then people will be dicks to you. It's always a spiral. If it's a negative spiral, it goes down, down, down. If it's a positive spiral, it goes up, up, up. So being good, being nice to people, it's like being kind, smiling at somebody, not responding out of emotion. And it's just one of the most beautiful things, because there is such a thing as good karma. When you just go out of your way, if you're having a bad day, it doesn't mean that you have to pay that forward. That's your problem. That's a you problem. That's not anyone else's problem. If I'm having a bad day, it is my responsibility to deal with that anger, that negativity myself. And the worst thing I can do with that is to try and spread that negativity, because it doesn't lead to any good. If you haven't watched, I'm not sure if I'd recommend it because I don't really watch much at all, but I did watch this show on Netflix called Beef, which is about having beef. And in a way, I'm kind of glad I watched it, but it's so full of negativity, and it very well depicts how being a cunt will make others being a cunt towards you. So let's just make it the opposite and be nice to people. That makes me happy, because it genuinely, you can see the positive impact you can have on the world when you just go out of your way to be nice. Give someone a helping hand. Do anything you can to, and this is the thing, people think, oh, Erika, you're so positive. Like, no, not necessarily. I might be really sad about something. I might be really struggling with some emotions. But again, I'm not pretending to be happy when I meet someone. Maybe I just think that, oh God, I haven't seen this person for a while. And that does give me a moment of happiness. Even if I'm feeling sad. You can be grateful for everything that you've got. What else did I write down? Sitting in silence. Yes, okay, so sort of meditation. I reckon I'll definitely do an episode, or like part of an episode, about how to meditate, because it really isn't, it isn't hard, like lots of people think. You don't have to put a lot of time aside. It's not, it's straightforward, very straightforward. Sitting in silence makes me deeply happy because it's really uncomfortable. The same goes to having an ice bath. It's very important to experience hard things, because the modern life provides so much. It's just so easy that we have to come up with problems, and meditation or just sitting in silence is very rewarding, especially if you just focus on observing your thoughts and feelings and really trying to reflect where they stem from. Sometimes you really can think about the root cause of your thoughts and feelings, and it really helps you understand yourself better. So I think that's a really, really big sort of root of happiness, to really sit on who you are and what you're going through. Exercising with friends, okay, definitely makes me happy. Oh my God. Just being in a group of people, it doesn't even need to be that you like those people necessarily, like every single one of them, but just that kind of aspect of community, which is so lacking these days. Connection. It doesn't need to be anything verbal necessarily. It doesn't need to be having a conversation. It's just togetherness, which again, in this world with so much social media and disconnection, we need more of spending time with people. And then I just wanted to say exercising, because first of all, exercise is amazing, but exercising becomes so much easier when you do it amongst other people. Sometimes I go inline skating and I just don't feel like chatting, and it's such an acceptor. Like, people accept me and people accept anyone who's there, whatever state you're at, and that's lovely. It's very peaceful, and I think peaceful is very synonymous with happy. Being in nature, this is a top thing. I grew up in Finland, and there's a lot of nature around. Even if you live in a big city, you can easily find a park or a forest or whatever, a stream, and just smelling fresh air and hearing birds sing is so relaxing. And I do know in this day and age, again, some people would find that really hard to accept, that now you just need to be, where it's exactly behind that wall of hard where the reward lies. So try really hard to get out into the nature. Oh, my dream, I've still never been to Kielder. I've been to Kielder, but I haven't been to the star, is it called? It's like an observatory for gazing the stars, and I'd really love to go. And I need to mark down actually when the next meteor shower is, because I want to get outside and just see a few shooting stars. It makes you feel so small, and it's just the most beautiful thing to realise how none of this really matters. And that is so beautiful. People are so absorbed within their own selves and thinking that, oh gosh, overthinking all of their actions, and I did this thing, oh gosh, what are they thinking of me now? Guess what? Nobody gives a shit, which is why I'm doing this podcast, because I used to be very scared. I used to feel very protective over my thoughts and my feelings, and I can't possibly project them onto the world because I don't matter. That's exactly why you do it. Anyway, darling friend, sweetheart, let's move on. Watching my children play and develop, this is close to the meaning of my life. Observing little children that I've created 2 of. Just when they play, it's the innocence, when my friend Lena got in the ice bath the other day, it's brilliant, because the water was fresh, just refilled it, cleaned it and refilled it, and it was quite sort of all the way to the top, and when she went in, a lot of the water flows out, and then I think one of my children asked, why is the water come out of that? And then the other one said, because you're so big. And obviously we just giggled, and she's not big, she's not a big woman. And it's just lovely. Imagine if the way children are so direct and straightforward and innocent. They say what they think, and the children's reactions are just to hear and not really react in the way that us adults do often. It's so beautiful. And obviously just I really try and make an imprint in my memory every day of my children when I get to spend time with them, is I just want to look at them. I want to admire their beauty of how is it possible that I've created such unbelievably perfect creatures that know how to learn a language without having no pre-concept of language. Obviously they do in their genetics and stuff, but life is just unbelievable. And let's chill out now. Next one, listening to a podcast. I feel like lockdown was really a turning point in my life, because I finally found a few podcasts that made me feel really not alone. I feel like I've had a very deep sense of existential loneliness pretty much always. And I feel like I have had these glimpses of friendships and stuff and communications and just interactions with people before, where I have felt like it's just really good. But over lockdown, to be able to listen to somebody who's so like-minded, talk for hours and hours, oh my God, I've even got to meet at least sort of one person from a podcast, and I stopped him and just said, you don't know me yet, but you've been a very good friend to me over lockdown, and I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me that sense of belonging. And so finding podcasts that you really resonate with, that you'll enjoy listening to, is just something that's unbelievable. You can hear people talk about topics that you're interested in, and just hearing people's thoughts. And what I find very rewarding, again, which is not appreciated, I feel, enough in this life, is that people are so quick to reject opposing thoughts. As in, if somebody has a different opinion to mine, that's not a bad thing. That is supposed to make me think about, oh, okay, why do they have that point of view? Why do I have this point of view? Because the fact is that if I'd lived their life exactly how they've lived it, if I had their genetics and their environment, I would have exactly... Ow, shit! Siri freaked me. I proper jumped. Siri needs to stop listening to me. That was my watch. What was I saying? Was I talking about different opinions? It's... Yeah. If you were them, you would hold exactly the same worldview. And that is such a radical concept to really deeply internalize. You would always think, oh no, I would never be on Hitler's side. Yes, you would if you were in that situation. That is a fact. You can't understand every single situation. You can't understand how they perceive it. And that's the challenge. That's the beauty. That's the kind of, wow, somebody who I used to be so aggressively atheist after having been Christian for 18 years. And nowadays, I'm like, you know what? We're all part of the same human race. We're all living on this planet. And I'll just need to... My mum really taught me to not reject anyone based on their opinions or how they look. And I feel like that's one of the best lessons my mum ever gave me. And I'm not sure if she directly taught me it, but it was the way she behaved and talked to me about people. It's like, they've got a disability. That doesn't make them inferior to us. And my God, I wish I can teach that same stuff to my children. Unbelievable. Eating good food. Oh, I had to mention food. What makes me happy? When are you at your happiest? When I eat good food. Okay? Good food. in peace, not too much noise. Maybe with another person, actually, at that moment in time, the other person doesn't really matter, because if I can indulge on something so tasty, I'm there. I'm fully there. And food is just, oh my God. It uses spices and herbs and everything, just food. I love food, good food, so much. I love cooking, so don't get me started on food. Food makes me very happy if it's good food. Or if somebody's cooked for me, even better. Oh my God, that's why I like eating out. Okay, cuddling. Last one, cuddling, that I wrote down. These are just like the quickest thoughts that I wrote down on what makes me happiest. Cuddling. I love cuddling. Cuddling is one of the best things. I hug pretty much all of my friends when I meet them, because it truly it creates this surge of oxytocin, which is like this bonding drug, that I don't see the point in doing anything else. And when I really have the chance to have someone special in my life and have an actual cuddle with them, obviously I've got the kids, they are very special, the most special, but an adult cuddle, that's just beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's so warm and embracing, and cuddling makes me very happy. The second and final question from a friend, thank you very much, is: how do you deal with loneliness? Okay, I touched on this one before, actually. Let me just quickly write down on what time we're on. 45, because I'm thinking 45. Okay. Loneliness. Like I said, I've kind of always felt this existential loneliness, and I think it stems from being an only child, never having siblings to grow up with, never really, as a young person, having friends that were super close. I feel like I had friends who were passing. I could call them a best friend at the time, but I feel like when those friendships didn't last for that long, then they're just not... They were special, but it just creates this void on just I am here alone, and no matter how close somebody is to me or how whatever, the unfortunate fact is, sorry, I'm going to take my knee brace off because it's suffocating my leg. We all, again, this doesn't sound very happy, like jolly, but it is meant to be, that we all die alone. No matter how many people you've got surrounding you, or if you've been in a 70-year-old marriage, it doesn't matter. At the time we take our last breath, even if somebody's holding your hand, you die alone. Okay, maybe, well, yeah, no, you still die alone, even if you're in a horrific accident where like lots of people die together. Why does my brain go here? Do I need a therapist for this? Because I have these catastrophizing thoughts, but I feel like they prepare me for, then I can just be really happy in the moment. But I kind of never felt like I fit in to my environment. And so when I changed schools when I was 9, on 3rd grade in Finland, I did become part of this friends group, but those people were already friends with each other. And so I entered it, and so nobody was ever my best friend, and I kind of spent a lot of time calling these people on the landlines, and we spoke a lot on the phone, which is really nice. There was connection, but it wasn't until I became a teenager and I started going to the library, because everyone was on summer vacations, which we didn't have money for. They were abroad, they were in their summer cabins, we didn't have one. And so I just spent a lot of the time maybe sitting in the library and reading books on Taoism, or just different religions, or just philosophies and stuff like that, when I realised that I've never been able to talk to anyone about these. And it was sometimes school when we started studying world religions, when I realised that, wow, the world is a big place with lots of different ideologies. And right now, I don't mind. I really, really value different kinds of friendships. Some friendships are purely, just based on doing sports together or going for a coffee and having a chit chat. No friendship is more valuable than another. But these are the kinds of conversations that I really crave. So how do I deal with loneliness? First of all, it's very important to learn to be alone, to be by yourself. So meditation comes in here. Again, can go into that in another episode. And what I wrote down as well is work on confidence / action. Approach people you vibe with. So basically, you can't expect for other people to connect with you if you're feeling lonely. And say I've experienced true loneliness when I've been amongst a big group of people. I can feel super lonely. Being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. Being alone can actually be a very wholesome experience. Loneliness is when you don't connect. And that's actually one of the saddest things I can think of, is when I spent a special holiday with a group of people that there was nobody there for me. There was nobody for me to talk to. And I was so lonely. I was so heartbreakingly lonely. I don't wish that on anyone else. And so then, how I deal with it, I've tried to make new connections, new friendships. I have started new activities. I try things. I go do things. If there's a chance, say you bump into somebody, or you're bowling and your bowling ball, I don't know, accidentally goes to somebody else's lane or something, you can create a bit of chit chats. And I've made some good friends, literally just saying, oh my God, you've got an amazingly cute dog. You seem like cool people. And then they're like, oh yeah, you too. Should we go for a pint together? Yes, let's. And start of a beautiful relationship, friendship, unbelievable. So you have to, but also I do appreciate that takes a bit of confidence. But then again, you can't really build your confidence unless you put yourself out there and try new things, little bits at a time. Don't start to pretend to be something that you're not, or put on a persona. You can just maybe pay someone a little tiny compliment. That can go a long way, and that builds your confidence when you're like, okay, they didn't turn me down. That's fine. Try new things, meditate. This podcast, okay, my final note was this podcast. How to deal with loneliness, this podcast. That is the deepest meaning for me creating this podcast, is now that we are creating an interactive component, we are no longer alone. We have become friends. Thank you for being my friend, and welcome to the family. Very much love this shit. So, show notes. Show's coming to an end very soon. Go and check out the 2 links. What were they? One's definitely where you get your chance to answer these questions. So when are you at your happiest? And how do you deal with loneliness? If you've got thoughts on either of these, you don't need to answer both of them. Just one. I would love to hear your thoughts. So like I said, please try and maybe keep it a bit brief. Don't go absolutely insane, because I won't have endless amount of time in my life, but I can't wait to hear your thoughts. So click on that link, and then if you've got any questions for future episodes, please send them to hello@ericahelsinki.com, and you can see how my name is spelled in the show if you so wish. And other than that, I would really appreciate it very deeply if you were to subscribe to this podcast, which I intend on doing for the foreseeable. It gives me so much energy. It really excites me. And I'm so full of joy when I even think about this, and just answering questions. I love questions. I love curiosity. I love answering questions, and I like asking questions. So subscribe if you want to be part of the family. That'd be amazing. Let's make it a good one. And finally, if there's anything that you enjoyed about this episode, please share it with one friend. You can also, I think I tend to listen to my podcasts on Spotify, you can share it from a specific location. So if you're hearing something in the podcast, you don't need to share just the whole episode and say, go to 23 minutes, something seconds. You can just send from this moment in time, whatever. You can just do that thing and then it shares it from that. So you can just say, oh, listen to 1 minute of this. Because I think sometimes it's really difficult to start listening to something new when you don't have the full hour to listen to it. So, or however long it lasts. And that is my final request for today. This feels so wholesome. I'm just trying to come to terms with how much I'm enjoying this for years. And I know it's only episode 3, and I know episode 2 was only me rambling on about shit underneath my fucking duvet in the morning when I was like this. But I've just not been so excited about anything for years, and it feels really deeply meaningful, and it just feels like I love this process, and I've managed to make it easy enough for myself to actually go through with it. And now that I've got my little studio, if you're watching a video on YouTube, I've got sound panels on. I hope the quality of the sound isn't horrendous. I'm still recording, like, it's just silliness. I could set up a bigger, fancier thing, but I've got a few little lights on. I've got my little love heart next to me, which reminds me of all the love that there is in the world. I'm such a hippie and I used to fucking hide it. But you know what? It's just how it is. It's the state of the world. No matter how much shit goes down, deep down, there is love, my friend. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you'll have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Give yourself a big hug. Arms across both of you, the opposing shoulders, and a big squeeze, because I'm not there to squeeze you, but that's my hug from me to you. Look after yourself. I will see you or hear you next time. Make sure you go and click on those things and send me questions for the next one. Love you long time. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Bye-bye. Ah, this is so good. So good. I'm going to sit with this feeling for a little bit, I think. I still have just over half an hour. I need to head out to my doctor's. I've even taken some painkillers earlier on because my back was so bad that I couldn't move really, and so I'm happy I can actually sit down now. And it's this is funny because, like, I'm looking at my screen here, my notebook down at the bottom, and I kind of forget that this exists, and then every now and again I just realize, oh God, yeah, there I am. But I'm not looking at myself, I'm looking at these, because I think I'm just not. This is why this is so good, because I am a very visual person maybe, but I'm not bothered about editing visual aspects of things. So this is just the audio, and this is just so that I've got something to make clips out of, I suppose. But now, let me go for a pee and get ready for what's to come. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you're on YouTube now, click subscribe on this YouTube channel, because you get all the behind the scenes posts. Action. What's the thing that happens at the end? Action. What's the clappity clap called? And the anti-action. The one that's the end. Ta-ta. Episode 3 done of My Friend podcast. Thanks for being a friend. Love you.